All right, people, welcome back. Good afternoon. We've got more slot corners to take a look at here, starting with Ohio State's very own Jordan Hancock, 22 years old. We're definitely getting into the less appealing area of the slot corners. The bottom dropped out very quickly here. But honestly, these guys definitely strike me as people who belong in the NFL for the most part. 6 feet tall, so he's got good size for a slot corner. If he ends up playing inside, he won't really have a problem with bigger slot corners at all. I don't think his arms aren't even that short. Does have small hands, I guess, but 30 and 3/4 inch arms are okay. Nevertheless, the big boards mostly have him in the seventh or maybe the sixth. The aggregate has him in the fifth, though, so there is reason to believe he'll go a little bit higher than that. Um, Played quite a bit of football over the last couple years for Ohio State, helped them win a national title. Not a ton of ball production, but he did have 8 pass breakups last year, and his coverage metrics are pretty decent. He doesn't get picked on a ton, and he doesn't give up a ton. So you're working with something pretty good if you want, ugh, excuse me, ball production. PFF grades are decent as well. He's logged reps in multiple spots defensively. Like, this is a guy that's played a lot of slot corner, outside corner, safety. So there is definitely some flexibility here that may come in handy. He's a good tackler. He's a hard hitter. So that element of playing slot corner is already pretty well handled. He's really hard to get away from early in the rep. He just kind of swallows you up because he's got good size. He's shown an ability to effectively press. If you ask him to do it, he can press pretty well. And like I said, he's bigger than the average nickel corner. It does feel like he doesn't trust himself in zone. He doesn't trust his reads. You really need to trust your reads when you're in zone to maximize playmaking opportunities. I don't know if his press is going to translate because his arms are so short. And I think that he lacks the speed and reactive athleticism to keep up in a longer running rep. Like, early in a man rep, he's great. But as the play goes on, the receiver has a tendency to get away from him, and it's a little harder for him to get back to it. And overall, I think his instincts just aren't where they need to be yet. And that's something that you hope can come. But he is 22. You would prefer to see a little bit more there than we currently do. So, interesting potential with Hancock. I don't I don't know how this will work at the moment because you're talking about a guy who has significant problems playing man and zone. Mostly his greatest skill right at this moment is that he's a good tackler and run defender. So you're going to have to really work to get something better out of him. So I'd go late fifth round. And that does seem a little bit harsh, although it is roughly in line with the big board, the aggregate, but I don't know. I don't like the fact that he has big problems with his man and zone game. Upton Stout, Western Kentucky's our next guy here. Couldn't find his age. Very small. He is a more traditional slot corner in that he is short, light, and he's got very short arms. Tested pretty well. 4.44, 1.51, 10-yard split. Good explosiveness with his jumps. Really bad 20-yard shuttle, I guess. But hey, bench press, he cranked him out. Although, I've said this before, I'll say it again. When you have short arms, cranking out the bench press reps is easier. Um, Big boards, we've got a fourth round, we've got a fifth round. The aggregate has him in the sixth. So, little all over, but day 3 pretty clearly. Very little ball production last year, but he didn't get targeted a lot. It was interesting. He played basically the whole season for Western Kentucky, and he only got targeted 17 times. You don't see that every day. And even the previous year, he didn't get targeted that much. Now, it's Western Kentucky. You're going to be playing more teams that run the ball a lot. I get that. But this is still kind of impressive. PFF grades were really good, too. So he did a good job over at Western Kentucky for sure. He's got really good movement skills. He's got short area agility. That's what you need from a slot corner. He's got those things. He can move really well. He can change direction really well. He's got good zone instincts. I think he reads the play well in zone and trusts his read and goes with it. And he's also got the ability to keep up in man with his speed and agility. So, versatile piece. He's got a nice click and close. He's willing to just plant and go when he's facing the line of scrimmage. And even though he will never be a great run supporter for very obvious reasons, he's not afraid to get physical when coming up in run support at all. Not afraid to stick his nose in there and try to do something with a ball carrier. Now, he played on the outside at Western Kentucky, which is never going to fly in the NFL. So you do have another case here of an obvious slot corner that has very little experience in the slot. He does commit too many penalties, which is unnecessary. He just kind of has this almost reflexive need to reach out and grab when he's got the play under control. He does miss tackles, and he does get bullied because of his size. There's just no getting around it. And while his ball skills have shown to be good, they're also inconsistent. So there's a lot that I like about Stout. I wouldn't mind him in the 4th round. I will admit the size might be a little bit disqualifying for some teams, but if you're willing to accept a smaller slot corner, I think this guy brings a lot of skills to the table. So, yeah, I would go 4th round, even though there is risk behind it. All right, last guy for this video is Robert Longerbeam of Rutgers, 24 years old, 5'11", so pretty decent size for a slot corner, but very, very lean. 175, that's not going to fly. I'm going to say that right now. He's got good arm length, 31.5 inches, but 175 pounds. I don't see how you're cutting it in the NFL at corner with that, even at nickel. He tested well, although you have to wonder, is he going to be this athletic and this explosive if he puts on weight? Like, if he puts on 15 pounds, then what are we talking about? Is he still running a 4.39? Probably not. So it's a little bit complicated right now. Big boards, we got a, what is this, a 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, undrafted. Aggregate puts him in the 7th, so he's probably going to get drafted, but it's close. Pretty good production the last couple years, 21 passes broken up. A lot of ball production, only a few takeaways. Coverage numbers are mixed. He does get picked on a lot, but he doesn't give up a ton. So I would look at this and say he's doing his job more or less. He was a locker room leader at Rutgers. He was considered, the coaching staff singled him out as one of their leaders in the locker room. He's a firm hitter when hunting ball carriers. He's actually able to lay the wood a little bit, although that's in college. We'll see if it translates. He's got good ball skills and closing speed. He's able to close distance very quickly at the end of the play. Willing to stick his nose in there and run support and get involved and work through blocks. And he should be man zone flexible, which is always valuable. He should be able to play man or zone effectively. Again, the big problem with him is just at 175 pounds, what are you really going to do? How are you going to bring down a running back? How are you going to bring down most receivers? How are you going to hold up when you're getting bodied up by a bigger receiver, or even an average-sized receiver? So he'll never be a great tackler. He'll never be great in run support, even though he's very willing. And I don't know if any amount of adding weight is really going to fix that. It's going to mitigate it. He didn't really play inside at Rutgers. He was an outside receiver. And he does get beat deep. He lets players get behind him a little too much. Some coverage busts. So a little bit of frustrating stuff there. So overall, I like him. I'm just very aware of the fact that this guy could change a lot over the next couple months if he adds weight, which I think he needs to. He's very competitive, though, so I'm going to say 5th round pick and hope that he adds weight without losing what makes him good. So it's a risk, but it's one I'm willing to take. So that's the 3 slot prospects I wanted to talk about in this video. I will see you guys later today with another video with slot corner prospects. See you guys then. Go Hawks.